بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. As you remember, we said there are three issues that we need to discuss about the moon. One was about sighting the moon with eyes, or not sighting and just being sure. Is ru'ya a requirement, or if you are just sure, it's enough? So this was one issue, we discussed this. The second issue is whether ru'ya is only ru'ya with unequipped eyes, naked eyes, or if you do ru'ya but with the help of a telescope, it is also fine. Okay, so it's ru'ya but with an instrument. أما القضية الثانية, about whether equipped eye is okay or not, فقد يقال إن العبرة حسب النصوص بنفس الرؤية وشهادة الشاهدين بها عن حسهما وباصرتهما المجردتين لا عن صناعة علمية فلا تكفي الرؤية بالعين المسلحة. It is said that ibra means ما يكون معتبرا, so what is the requirement, what is valid according to the text, is seeing itself, sighting itself, you see it yourself, or testimony of two witnesses بالرؤية. Two people say we have seen it with their own hiss, with their own sense, with their own basara, with their own eyes. They say we have seen. But al-mujarradatain, okay, so the basara must be without aid. Mujarrada means naked, without aid. لا عن صناعة علمية, not with a scientific technology. So ru'ya with equipped eye is not sufficient. This is the main claim. Okay, maybe some people say, that no, it is enough, but this is the main, this is a famous one, and we will see what's the reason. وقد يقال, this is the second opinion, بكفايتها, they say it is enough. Of course, those who say it is enough, they need to prove, and if their arguments are not acceptable, we need to assume that it's not adequate, because ihtiyat and asl require to not accept, because you have to have hujjah, especially at the end when you want to stop fasting. Istisab says you have to continue. وقد يقال بكفايتها, يعني كفاية الرؤية بالعين المسلحة لوجهين, because of two reasons. One, صدق الرؤية عليها. They say, you want ru'ya? Okay, this is ru'ya. According to them, or say, even if you see with telescope, you can see you have seen the moon. كالرؤية بالنظارة لضعيف البصر. If someone's sight is weak and has to use glasses, so we say he's seeing with glasses. Can anyone say that if someone sights the moon with glasses, it's a problem? No. So the same should be with telescope, according, of course, to these people. But we don't accept this, because we say with the using glasses, this person becomes like ordinary people. So what ordinary people can see without glasses, this person can see with the glasses. But with telescope, you gain exceptional vision, not like ordinary people. Yeah, so it makes a big difference. You cannot say using glasses and using telescope are the same. So قد يقال بكفايتها يعني كفاية الرؤية بالعين المسلحة لوجهين. أولا صدق الرؤية عليها كالرؤية بالنظارة لضعيف البصر. They say رؤية can be applied to this رؤية with عين المسلحة. This is also رؤية, like رؤية with نظارة. نظارة means glasses. لضعيف البصر, for someone who is weak in the sight, has weak vision. And if you say, but when we hear رؤية, it's munsarif. You know انصراف in usul al-fiqh. انصراف means that our mind goes to certain instances. This doesn't come to our mind. They say this is not because of meaning. It's not that the meaning is limited. No, because of ghalaba, because most of the time we have used ru'ya for seeing with eyes without any help. This comes to our mind first. Otherwise, ru'ya can be general. فلا عبرة به فلا عبرة بالانصراف. This انصراف is just because of, you know, like a habit. It's most of the time used for غير المصلح. خب, this is the first argument for those who say it is enough to see with equipped eye. وفيه. Now we question this point, the first argument. ما تقدم من أن شرط صحة التمسك بالإطلاق كون إرادة المقيد مع عدم التقييد قبيحة وفي المقام لا قبح إذا أريد خصوص الرؤية بالعين العادية. This is a reminder of what we have studied in usul al-fiqh, in مقدمات الحكمة. You know that for إطلاق we need مقدمات الحكمة. It's different from umum. For umum we have adat, we have something in the text, a linguistic sign for umum, like kol, jami, etc. For itlaq is muqaddamatul hikmah. We say when the speaker is bisadad al-bayan, yeah, when the speaker is in a context that he wants to say everything for practice, whatever we need to know, he says, بِسَدَدِ الْبَيَانِ, and he can make all the details, mention all the details, and still has not mentioned. So we can say that there was no need for that qaid, for that modifier. Generality, umum, itlaq was meant. I mean by umum, literal, meaning it means generality, itlaq. For example, said أعتق رقبة. There was no problem in saying أعتق رقبة مؤمنة. He had time, but he just said أعتق رقبة. So we say this means that then any raqaba is enough, doesn't need to be a believer. Okay? So now in our case, Shari' could say ru'ya without anything else, or ru'ya mutlaqa. Okay? And this person who is arguing for kifayat al-ru'ya bil-ayn al-musallaha, he says Shari didn't make any qaid, didn't restrict it to ghayr al-musallaha, so it's general. It can be muqayyad, or without taqid, or without qaid or with qaid, with tajarrud al-ayn or without tajarrud al-ayn. There is no qaid mentioned here. Sheikh Irwani says what we say in Muqaddamatul Hikmah is that if Shari' meant muqayyad and didn't mention qaid, is qabih. By the very fact that Shari' didn't mention qaid, we realize that he didn't mean qaid. It was mutlaq, it was not modified. Otherwise it would be unacceptable, be qabih, immoral, unacceptable, unwise. If you meant raqabah mu'minah, why you didn't say and just say raqabah? This is qabih. If you meant raqabah mu'minah and you just said raqabah. Okay? Here you cannot say the same thing. You cannot say if Shari' meant ru'ya bil-ayn al-mujarrada only, should have mentioned this. Otherwise, can it be ayn al-mujarrada or ghayr al-mujarrada, which is musallaha? You say no. It was not qabih in the time of Shari'. This issue was not relevant. Yeah? There was no such a thing as ayn al-musallaha or ayn ghayr al-mujarrada. In our time, we say mujarrada, ghayr al-mujarrada. At that time, was just mujarrada. Okay? So there was no problem in not emphasizing on being mujarrada. It's not like saying raqaba and meaning mu'mina. That was a problem. Because at that time you could say mu'mina or ghayr mu'mina or mutlaqa. But about citing, only one option was there. Okay, so this is one point. So we said من أن شرط صحة التمسك بالإطلاق, the condition was for مقدمات الحكمة was what? كون إرادة المقيد مع عدم التغيير قبيحة. If you meant مقيد and you didn't mention the qaid, it was qabih. Like you meant رقبية مؤمنة, you didn't say مؤمنة. This is qabih. But in our maqam, in our context, لا قبح. If you meant by رؤية, رؤية مجردة بالعين المجردة بالعين العادية, means ordinary. Why? Because that is the only thing which was relevant and available at that time. If someone says, yes, but in future it was possibility of two types of ru'ya. In the time that Imams alayhi salam or the Prophet, they were speaking, ru'ya was only mujarrada, adiya. But there could be in future cases of ru'ya which are with ayn al-musallaha. And Shari should have mentioned that, no, I don't accept musallaha, I only mean mujarrada. Sheikh Irwan says, why? Shari speaks to the people of his time. and according to their level of understanding and what is, relevant, applicable to them. Yes, if it is dua, munajat, they speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it can be higher than level of understanding of people. But in such cases, someone asks question, or people are listening to Imam, so Imam speaks according to their time. He doesn't need to say that in future there will be other types of citing and they are not acceptable. Okay? So, لو كان للمطلق أفراد مستقبلية means future cases, future أفراد, future individuals, غير متعارفة فعلا, which are not conventional, which are not ordinary now. ولم يكن الإطلاق مرادا, and إطلاق was not meant. فلا يلزم التقييد بعدمها, there was no need to mention that it must not be other than this. Why? لعدم استهجان العرف تركه, because urf doesn't find this hajin. Hajin means unacceptable, ugly. Urf doesn't say that not mentioning qaid is bad. بعد عدم تعارف, when something is not متعارف for urf, then they don't say you should mention that. I mean غير المصلحة, because in future there will be مصلحة citing as well. كذا في المقام فإن الرؤية المتعارفة عصر الناس. عصر here means age. So in the age of these texts, the ru'ya which was conventional, which was ordinary, was ru'ya بالعين المجردة, with naked eye. أما الرؤية بالعين المسلحة فلم تكن متعارفة لتأخرها عن عصره, يعني عن عصر الناس. فلا يلزم التقييد بعدمها لعدم الاستهجان, because Urf doesn't say this is unacceptable, ugly. خب, if someone says, but Imam alayhi salam, for example, if this is hadith from Imam Sadiq, for example, Imam has to explain ahkam for akhir al-zaman as well. So if there is a thing that in future can be applicable, he should mention that. لا يقال, it shouldn't be said that إن الإمام عليه السلام منسوب لبيان الأحكام لآخر الزمان فلو لم يرد الإطلاق لأخل بوظيفته. If Imam had not meant إطلاق, means any kind of ru'ya, is okay. If he didn't mean this and he just meant رؤيته غير مسلحة, is okay. He should have mentioned, otherwise لأخل بوظيفته. He has not performed his wajib, his duty. He has failed short from his wajib. لا يقال, this should not be said. This is not acceptable. Why? We have answer for it. إذ يقال هذا لو كان للسامع التمسك بالإطلاق في مثل الحالة المذكورة. This is a kind of relevant question, relevant idea. If the listener was able to use and appeal to itlaq in that kind of condition, to say that ru'ya can be mutlaq, musallah and غير musallah. But we know that no one understood it at mutlaq at that time. Also in future also it's not meant. So Imam has not failed in doing his wajib. لا إخلال means لا إخلال بوظيفته. Then someone may say, okay, in that case, if someone asks you a kind of, this is a kind of counter example. Says, okay, what if someone wants to make wudu with water which is muqattar. If you make water as liquid into gas, becomes steam, and then you make a steam in a cold, for example, environment, again liquid. This water is then pure, because if there are any minerals, etc., salt, calcium, whatever, they will not become steam. Yeah, we call this ma'i muqattar. Muqattar is from taqtir. Taqtir means drop, means this is a steam, then a steam becomes drops of water. And the same way, they make, rose water, etc. In any case, can we use ma'i muqattar for wuzu? Yes. But in the time of Nas, there was no ma'i muqattar. Or if we can perform any, thing in the laboratory and make water, can we use it for wuzu or not? Sheikh Iwani says this is not a good objection. Why? Because we are sure that there is no difference between ma'i muqattar and ordinary water. So it's not that we want to use muqaddimatul hikmah and asalatul itlaq to say we can use ma'i muqattar. Ma is not muqayyad to be adamul muqattar. No, water is water. We don't have doubt here. قلت لا يلزم ذلك. This adamu jawaz al-wuzu la yalzam means wuzu is jaiz with ma'i muqattar. Bal nata'adda, we extend it to ma'i muqattar or different types of water, modern ways of making water. Produce water is fine, we can use for wuzu. Why? Because of itlaq? No. Lil jazm, because of certainty. بعدم الخصوصية. There is no khususiyya here which is missing. Yeah, it's not that ordinary water has something which is not available in ma'i muqattar. No, water is water. If you say إن قلت إن التطور العلمي وبالأخص في الفلك كان ثابتا في عصر التشريع، فقد كان التجار يستعملون النواظير في أسفارهم عبر البحر، والمأمون وحده قد بنى 3 مراصد فلكية. If you say that scientific progress, development, especially in astronomy, existed in the time of legislation, in the time of Prophet and Imams alayhimus salam, at that time there was good level of progress in this regard. For example, people who were doing trades, when they were traveling in seas and oceans, they were using nawadir. They were using some kind of, lenses or, equipments that gave them better vision, like telescopes, for example. He says Ma'mun himself had made 3 places for studying stars and sky. Okay, so they were not totally unaware of these things. Of course, in the footnote says that these 3 were, according to one encyclopedia, which is for Farid Wajdi, Muhammad Farid Wajdi, 2 in Baghdad and 1 in Syria. But according to the same source, it says that even before Ma'mun, 140 years before Christ, we had places for studying of stars. So it was not a science which was totally unknown to them. They could, use some equipments like, telescopes, Ostolab, different things. خب قلت هذا لا يعني تعارف الاستفادة منها في رؤية الهلال لإثبات الشهر. He says maybe yes, they had such places, but this doesn't mean that using these equipments and technologies were متعارف, were common. For what? For this purpose, في رؤية الهلال لإثبات الشهر, for sighting crescent, for proving that the month has started, month of Ramadan started, or month of Shawwal started. Otherwise, we should have seen reports of that in the books of history or in the hadith. وإلا لنعكس ذلك. It should have been reflected على التاريخ والروايات, in history, books of history and hadith. We should have seen that, for example, they used such place in Baghdad for finding the beginning of the month, for example. وأما القياس على الرؤية بالنظارة. But you said, it is like using glasses. He says it is قياس مع الفارق. You are likening it to using glasses, but there is distinction. إذ الإبصار بواسطتها, it means بواسطة النظارة. Seeing with the help of glasses لا يزيد على إبصار العين المتعارفة للإنسان, would not be more than seeing with ordinary eyes. Yeah? Because no bashar, people in general, they can see the same things. Some people maybe have weakness, they use glasses to become like ordinary people, or maybe there was a time they themselves had ordinary vision. They don't use glasses to add to their power, so they become extraordinary in strength. It's not that they put like a microscope or telescope, No, it gives them ordinary vision, not bigger, not smaller. لا يزيد على إبصار العين المتعارفة للإنسان, doesn't increase to the sighting of ordinary eye of human being. بخلاف العين المسلح. But when we say عين المسلح, equipped eye, it's more than ordinary sight. Okay, this is one way of arguing. We said قد يقال بكفايتها لوجهين. الأول صدق الرؤية عليها. Okay, we discussed this. Now, the second argument, صحيحة علي ibn Ja'far, who is buried in Qom, in Shaykhan, in Ali ibn Ja'far, not in Shaykhan, in Ali ibn Ja'far. So he's brother of Imam Kazim alayhi salam, and is buried in Qom. Ali ibn Ja'far quotes from his brother Musa ibn Ja'far this hadith: الرجل يرى الهلال في شهر رمضان وحده. A person sees the crescent of the month of Ramadan alone, means he alone sees the new moon. لا يبصره غيره. No one other than him can see it. Is not seen. Okay? Just one person has seen. When he says to other people, no one has seen. What should he do? He has seen it. Allahu an yasum. Can he fast? Because it is Shahr Ramadan. So it's seeing the end, moon at the end, means for months of Shawwal. If he relies on his sighting, he should not fast. He should consider this as Yawmul Eid and breaks fast. But if he doesn't rely on his sighting, he should fast. So the question is, Allahu an yasum, can he fast? Imam alayhi salam, according to this hadith, said, إِذَا لَمْ يَشُكَّ فَلْيُفْطِرْ. If he doesn't have doubt, so he must not fast. Yeah? If he has seen and he's sure that he has seen, it's not, illusion, whatever, then when you have yaqeen, you don't need, other people confirm. Yes, maybe other people cannot accept from one person, but the person himself has yaqeen. Wa'illa, if he doubts. So if he doesn't doubt, he should not fast. But if he doubts, فَلْيَصُمْ مَعَ النَّاسِ. Like people, he must fast with them, imagining that Shawwal has not yet come. خب. How they argue from this hadith? Those who say رؤية بالعين المسلحة is enough. How they want to use this? They claim a very special way of understanding and interpreting this hadith. They say بدعوة. Da'wah means claim. أنه قال. This person who asked the question, okay, said يرى وحده ولا يبصره غيره. He himself alone sees the moon, but لا يبصره غيره. Other people don't see. He says, the person who argues, the scholars who argue from this hadith, they say, look, the question was not that لم يبصره غيره, no one else saw it. The question is لا يبصره غيره, no one else can see it. Is seeing means can see it. So they want to say no one else is seeing it means this person has extra power. If it was said that no one has seen it, means okay, they could see it, but they have not seen it. But when it says he is seeing and no one else is seeing it, means he has a special vision. He's more powerful than others in his vision. So he has extra vision. Means like someone who's using telescope. So they say, from this we understand that it's okay. بدعوى أنه قال يرى وحده ولا يبصره غيره ولم يقل ولم يبصره غيره. What is the difference? If it says لا يبصره غيره الأول لا يبصره غيره يدل على أنه وحده يمكنه أن يبصره وغيره لا يمكنه ذلك. He can, others cannot. خب. This includes when he cannot, he can and others cannot, because he has extra vision naturally, his eyes are more powerful, or maybe he's using equipment. Anyway, he can and others cannot. It includes when he's using some techniques, some equipment. ومن مصادقه من كانت عينه غير متعارفة في الإبصار. One of the examples is that he has extraordinary eyes. But when we say in the second expression, we say لم يمكن لم يكن يبصره غيره. When we say لم يبصره غيره, they didn't see it. it doesn't show that they could not see it. It didn't happen. So according to them, if someone is Zul'ain, has eyes which are not ordinary, then it's okay. And this means that even at that time, this question was there, that some people may have more powerful vision, either naturally or it could be through other ways. For example, now we say through techniques. So these people want to say that it was possible even at that time to modify. عليه لما كان ذو العين غير المتعارفة من مصادق التعبير الوارد فلا موجب لاشتراط الرؤية بالعين المتعارفة. So why we need to make this condition that ru'ya should be with ordinary eye? No. Ordinary eye, not ordinary, which means stronger, equipped, etc. Okay. But we don't accept this. Sheikh Irwani says, وفيه أن غايته كفاية العين غير المتعارف. The maximum we can say is that if someone has a stronger eye, it's okay. A stronger eye. Even at that time, some people had a stronger eyes, which is, of course, not very likely, because among people of a city, it's very difficult. One person alone has that power. But anyway, you can say maximum. But not a stronger vision because of equipments. لا الأجهزة الحديثة التي تفوقها بأضعاف. These new technologies, they can make the power of sighting of the eye several times more. Okay? It's not like a person who has better vision. How much he can be better? Plus, this way of making distinction between لا يبصره غيره or لم يبصره غيره is too technical. It's not عرفي. ألا أن التدقيق في النص بهذا النحو ربما لا يكون عرفيا. This kind of articulating so in a very delicate way, it's not عرفي. Why? إذ العرف قد يعبر بمثل لا يبصره غيره مكان قولي لم يبصره غيره. Urf can use these interchangeably من دون التفات إلى الفرق بين التعبيرين. Doesn't pay attention to the difference between these two. So the conclusion is that رؤية بالعين المجردة is acceptable, بالعين المسلحة is not acceptable according to Sheikh Irwani. Some of our marajah they accept, some they don't accept. Of course, we said glasses are okay because this is not making it equipped. Glass just brings you to the ordinary sight. The next thing that we need to discuss is الرؤية في الكمبيوتر. This is related to this discussion. It's still قضية ثانية. But maybe inshallah we can discuss it next week. Our time is already over. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.